Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. So we're going to be highlighting from Found North, their newest release here in 2025, which is actually going to be considered their 2024 part of the high altitude collection, their Peregrine. So if you're familiar with what it is that Found North does, I mean, continuously they're pumping out incredible whiskey after incredible whiskey. And I think after kind of today's video, you'll see where this is just going to kind of continue to fall right in line with that. But I wanted to kind of go through this thing, break it down a little bit, nose it, taste it, give you guys an idea of what you can kind of expect from this newest release. Now, what I will say is the lottery is beginning today as of the recording of this video, February 12th. So if you're interested in getting a bottle, you'll have to kind of go to their website, check all of that out, become part of that. That will enter you or allow you to enter a lottery. After that, who knows where you'll get one of these things. They do come and go pretty quickly, but let's kind of dive into today's review, give you an idea of what you can maybe expect from their newest release here, part of their high altitude collection, again, the 2024 Peregrine. All right, so let's get into this. So basically this is coming in at 114.2 proof. It is age stated as 21 years. Let's go through this a little bit quickly and I'll kind of tell you what the ages are kind of comprised of with this one. So mash bill first, 78% corn, 21% rye, 1% malted barley. Ages on this are going to be, as I had mentioned before, an age statement of 21 years, but is going to be comprised of 25, 24, and 23-year-old corn whiskey and 24 and 21-year-old rye whiskey, introducing with a little bit of that malted barley, or only 1% within this mash bill. It is coming in at $225 MSRP, and as of, again, today's video, it will be available via online and through their lottery. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. So color-wise, and I think it's always important with this, is to kind of show the oils that these whiskeys that they produce really are just always very, very oily. So that will show up hopefully through the viscosity later on as we get into the video. So you can see kind of a nice kind of medium copper type of color. Again, beautiful legs on there. I don't know if it's coming through very well on the camera or not, but beautiful, beautiful legs on my end. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into the nose and see what this one's going to offer. So right away, you're hit with this beautiful, beautiful spice. It's like heavy baking spices. A really nice tropical note fruit. Specifically for me, I'm picking up on this pineapple note, almost like a charred pineapple. Yeah, quickly followed by this really beautiful like burnt orange, a light honey, almost this kind of toasted aspect to it as well. The oak is there, but it feels like a medium oak. It's more in the background or just blended in really, really well. Now, as far as what this is also finished in, I forgot to mention this before, but it is finished in both a used cognac cask and new American oak. So you are going to have some nuances of both of those. And this is where I'm going to start to pick up a little bit of that earthiness that you get from a cognac. It's just this, it's hard to describe sometimes that earthy characteristic. It's just a beautiful accenting note to the char, to all of those underlying sweet notes. It just blends in there extremely, extremely well. Yeah, I'll even say like a little bit of like a cocoa powder or something along those lines. All right, let's go ahead and kind of dive into this and see what this one's going to give us on the palate. Cheers. So let me talk to you about ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic, why I use it, why I love it, why it's been an absolute game changer for me, and why I think it can be for you as well. The answer to why is simple. For me, it works. How easy is it to take? Simple. Open up the box that they send you, pull out one of the little bottles, give it a quick little shake, and down the hatch. It's as simple as that. And let the ZBiotics take over from there. So when do I use ZBiotics? Typically, I use it prior to doing any barrel picks, or if I'm going to be heading out for an evening and I know I'm going to be consuming a few alcoholic beverages. This is an easy solution. I know I'm going to feel my best and really allow me to be productive the following day. Now, a little bit more about ZBiotics. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to help tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for the rough next day. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. And just remember to make ZBiotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, stay properly hydrated, and you'll feel your best the following day. Now the question, how do you get it? Simple. Check out the link in the description below or use code BourbonJourney15 at checkout and save 15% off your first order. And again, make sure you check out the link in the description below for 15% off your first order. And remember, if you're unsatisfied for any reason, there's a 100% money back guaranteed, no questions asked. And a big thank you to ZBiotics for sponsoring today's video. Wow, so immediately it's this incredible flavor bomb. It has a lot going on, and it takes a little while to kind of dissect exactly what it is you're tasting. What I will say is you are hit with that baking spice, a little bit of that oak, that cognac kind of kicks in a little bit from an earthy standpoint, but it is a big spice bomb. The proof is there. It doesn't completely blow you away, but it definitely lets you know there is some proof. Again, only at 114.2 proof, but still a lot of big proof on this thing. It's really blending or mingling very well with the flavor profile that it has so far. The viscosity, the oil factor to this thing, absolutely incredible. I mean, it's what's really enhancing a lot of what it is that's going on. Lingering spice, that oak, the cognac. Again, I don't know if you would define it as cognac in terms of just pulling that out, but there is this earthy kind of characteristic that it has to it that's just layered in there very, very well with that sweetness that it has, that kind of tropical, burnt orange, cocoa powder, a lot going on. And the more I continue to talk, it just kind of lingers, sits there on the palate, and those flavors really kind of just begin to build from there. The oak for me balances in there extremely well. Like, you notice that it's there, but it's not something you're focusing on. It's just working extremely well with both the sweetness that's there, again, a little bit of that kind of that earthiness that's there, all kind of working in there. So that oak that's there isn't going to be heavy one way or the other, on the light side or the heavy side. It's just blending in there extremely well. But you know, more of that tropical fruit. Again, that pineapple is kind of one thing that's jumping out to me from a tropical standpoint, but that burnt orange, a little bit of kind of some honey characteristics, maybe even like a light, like sweet tea or something along those lines. This flavor bomb is crazy as to what all of this stuff is. The viscosity remains extremely, extremely fantastic. So yeah, I mean, so far it's just a beautiful whiskey. Coats the mouth extremely well. That oiliness that I was talking about before just allows for all of these flavors to just sit there, linger, and it all builds up to that finish, which again is extremely long. The cognac or that earthiness that I mentioned before, the burnt orange, that tropical, a little bit of pineapple, some honey notes. I had referenced this toasted aspect to it before, and it feels like that with all of those kind of like layers that it has. There's this little bit of like, you know, when I had mentioned that burnt orange or even like a charred pineapple or something, that toasted aspect is also there. You know, maybe people will reference that as, you know, like a caramel or like a marshmallow. You can think of it kind of as those ways, but it's just blended extremely well. And I think everything that Found North does and has done and probably will continue to do, they just kind of continue to pump out one great whiskey after another. And this is just another part of the high altitude collection here for 2024/2025. But the Peregrine, I'll tell you what, if you're spending the $225, you are not going to be disappointed in what this thing has to offer. And this is why I always say, for a lot of people, when you're talking about that kind of Canadian whiskey category, is I think until you try a really fantastic one, you don't know what it is you're missing out on. So if this is something that you've not tried, or you've shied away from Canadian whiskey, and this is something that you can introduce to, you know, your whiskey collection, I would highly recommend it, just from the standpoint of understanding what a really good quality Canadian whiskey can do. And when you have good people doing a lot of the blending, this is the result of that. So, you know, without continuing to kind of gush over it, which again, I'm a huge fan of Found North, and have been, and probably will continue to be. But again, I think for what it is they've done with this release, the 2024 Peregrine, and again, part of their high altitude collection, if you can be part of that lottery or even find a bottle afterwards, I would highly, highly encourage you. So I think what they've done with this, absolutely, absolutely fantastic. So as you can see, I am fresh out. Other than pouring more, it is a crushable 114.2 proof whiskey, and it's just a testament to, again, what Nick and his team do with Found North and their whiskeys. Just absolutely incredible. So overall, I would highly, highly recommend this. And honestly, Found North is probably my favorite when you're talking about Canadian whiskey brands. I mean, it's an American brand, but utilizing Canadian whiskeys. I mean, just what it is that they do, the attention to detail, their passion for whiskey in general. If you've ever heard Nick kind of just go through, you know, just the whiskey process, you'll understand the passion behind it. But anyway, there you go. There is the newest release from Found North, their 2024 Peregrine. If you can find it, or you're able to win this in the lottery, or have the opportunity to purchase it in the lottery, I should say, you know, congrats. It's an absolutely fantastic whiskey, and one that I think the vast majority of people are going to enjoy thoroughly. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can through my Patreon page, which I'll have linked in the description below. If you'd like to follow me, you can on Facebook and Instagram, both of those places at My Bourbon Journey. So thanks again, guys. I appreciate all of the support. And with that, it's about the journey and not the destination. I'd cheers you, but I have nothing left, but let's do it anyway. Cheers. And remember, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers. Man, that's good.
Make my